Well, thanks for tuning in to one more very special interview on NDTV Profit from the NDTV studios right here at the World Economic Forum. And our guest today is a special guest, Checkpoint Software Technologies. It's a leading American-Israeli multinational provider of cybersecurity solutions for governments and enterprises globally. Now, this is, of course, important in light of the fact that cyber attacks have steadily increased in frequency and sophistication, I might add, over the last few months, quarters, and years. Well, the IBM Security X-Force's annual report says that the Cybersecurity Threat Index 2003, the average organization saw 27% more cyber attacks compared to 2021. So in light of this, it becomes very important to talk to Dr. Dorit Dor, the CTO of Checkpoint, on the cybersecurity landscape globally and its evolution, if I can use that term, in 2024. Dr. Dor, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
No, so the mood around WEF this year, of course, rebuilding trust. And trust can't be rebuilt if security systems are not in place. And since everything is tech pervasive, or tech is pervasive everywhere, how important do you reckon cybersecurity has become now relative to what it would have been a few years ago?
Yeah, I think that the one thing to understand is that cybersecurity is more important as your reliance on digital assets is more important. So if your wallets are in line, if your websites are online, if you conduct your business, if your AI is online, if all your business supply chain is online, that increases the criticality. So if you look 20 years back, much less was online. So yeah, maybe something could have gone wrong and you'd still continue to operate. Now the risk is that all your assets are online and more are even becoming online. So cybersecurity becomes always more important.
You would be a very busy woman the next 4 days out here, huh? I would guess.
I have some panels, workshops, some stuff, yes.
No, but more importantly, just in terms of customers and companies globally wanting to get a slice of what can they do better. So I would love to understand from you, from what's been happening thus far in the world on cybersecurity, how do you see 2024 to be, or 2024 or the rest of the decade to be like?
Yes, definitely. So there are a few trends that are building up. By the way, trends in cybersecurity build over a large period of time. They start small, and whatever is successful is growing up. So one of the trends is hacktivism, and in some cases, state-nation related activity. We are living in a world where there are a few wars around us, and it's either as part of the war itself or supporters of one side gets hit by activism of the other side. That's true of multiple situations like this worldwide. So it's not just in one of the, not just in one of the regions. And people are worried about it because the tools used there sometimes are leveraging some state-nation tools, and sometimes are more destroying. So, for example, we used to ransomware. Ransomware is where I encrypt your data and I ask you to pay to get the data back. But in an activism play, there may be wiper. A wiper is like a ransomware, but nobody intends to give you the data back. It's like the intention to destroy. So these are the things that would happen in a more activism related to this. So this is one trend that is happening more due to political situation. Some trends are related to technology. So this goes to deep fakes and to generative AI kind of problems. So with all the AI growing around us, the attackers could leverage much more AI to be more targeted. So all of a sudden I could build an attack that would be specific to any one of the targets and be very focused on what they expect to see, what are the pictures that they like to see, what are the personal behaviors. And so the attackers get it's a tool. It's still true that the defenders also have AI, so they could protect better, but this changes a bit the landscape and will continue to change the landscape going forward. And we could talk more about AI after, but this is definitely kind of one of the leading trends. And I think that money being kind of on the on the internet also increases the value of trying to steal fraud activities related again to deep fake or to other forms of fraud will continue to erase from this.
Got it. Well, talking of changing landscape, the sun is now shining brightly behind us. I don't know how cool this frame is looking right now with the sun right behind us, but nevertheless...
For us, it's very comfortable.
I must say so. No, but it's interesting you use this term about AI as well, and I would love to understand from you, because that seems to be the buzzword. I was talking to the global head of technology practice at McKinsey, and he was talking about how AI might actually be one of the most prolific technological tools, or if I can use that term, for the rest of the decade. Yeah. Even if it's not disruptive, there's a lot that it can happen. Now, with cybersecurity as well, both on enabling cybersecurity to defend oneself, whether businesses or governments, and two, the use of AI for ransomware or other stuff. Now, how will this evolve? And do you reckon that as a percentage of the P&L, the quantum of costs that a company or a CIO of a company has to bear for the next few years, the cost of cybersecurity will only inch up because of the sophistication of the attacks that we've seen recently?
Yeah. So these are a collection of questions. I'll do my best to answer all of them. So first, about the impact of AI. The first immediate impact is more targeting and more automation. So look at everything you did before. You could now do it in a higher scale and more automated scale. You can, at a higher scale and more automated way, attack somebody, and you could, at a higher scale and more automated way, defend somebody. So this will increase the sophistication, and when there is an increased sophistication of an attack, there is an increased cost associated with it. So there is an increase of this. But there is also another layer of everybody is using AI now. And if you are using AI, you need to defend new stuff that you may have not defended before. So now, as an organization, you collect more data. And now you have to worry about who has access to your data internally. Before, only seldom people had access, and only to seldom parts. Now you want all the data to coherently live in your data lake, and you want to give it access to all the AIs around you that activate it. So now you have to guard your jewelry much more and secure how you do your own AI. So there is the attacker AI, there is the defender AI, and there is how you defend your AI usage, what comes out of it, how you defend the models, how you defend what AI you are using, and how you defend your data. These are all three things. The other thing I would say is usually there are two elements in the technology transformation. A, we always think it would run faster than it actually is, so things do take time, so it's not all changing in a day. But B, looking at different changes that happened in the past, we could see that it starts from these obvious things. So yes, everything will be automated, everything will be conversational, you'd get your answers much more clear to a bigger audience. CX level could get the answers as much as a technician, but at the same time, there would be an evolution of idea of things that would be done differently, that we don't know to believe now how they would be done differently. But some of the things would not be just automated the way it's done today, but a different way to do them given the tools. And that will change things. If you look at the mobile world, we do today quite a few things very differently than we did at the beginning of the mobile. We anticipated talks and maybe some other, and text and maybe picture moving, but we are doing today much more applications and much more personalized with the mobile. So the same change will happen with AI. The AI will start from the obvious automation and conversational and ease of use, etc., but would move to create new use cases and new ways to conduct our business. Maybe some things would be direct to consumer because the consumer would use the AI as guidance to a company. Maybe some things will be passing the humans or will in the loop in some senses. So I don't know to tell you, because one of the things is it's hard to predict, especially in the future.
But suffice to say that if increased usage of cloud, so availability of data everywhere, AI, plus sophisticated ransomware would mean that the cost of an average organization or a government for defending itself against all of these would mean increased spends on cybersecurity.
Yes, but I also want to say that they have increased spends on the underlying technology. So now they spend also on the AI and more on software. In general, we see an increase of spending in software in the recent years.
Sure.
So look at production line, industrial line. They have much more software components. You look at things that were in hardware. A lot of it is kind of a software, firmware changes. So you have to look at the expenses of security also in light of how much you are spending on these elements. So the spending changes, and with it there is more spending on cybersecurity, but there is also more spending on the cyber usage. Sure.
In some sense, we at India like to believe that we've got a fairly good head on our shoulders when it comes to technology. A lot of software talent in the country as well. I would love to understand from your viewpoint, because you are large in this space, what role does India play for the world of cybersecurity as in terms of supply of talent? What is your presence in India? Has it increased over the years? And how do you see that shaping up over the course of the decade?
Yes, so definitely we have presence in India. It's a very valuable collaboration with India. I think India in general is a powerhouse for technology because it has very large population. The population is technology savvy and driving this. I would say that no matter how many people you'd have shortage in skills, and you'd have shortage in AI skills, and shortage in cyber skills, and shortage in data skills. So even no matter how many people you have, we would say that you have a shortage in skills, but you definitely have a powerhouse that cannot be ignored. Checkpoint in India has sales and local business activities, but we also have large support center, and we have also R&D capabilities. And I think it's true to say that it's kind of obvious today that India is part of the ecosystem of technology for many companies, and you can't ignore this kind of talent pool. Still, India has to make sure that they maintain this talent pool and keep it up to date with the latest technologies and needs. But this is true to any place. So we all need to grow and reskill also. One of the problems is that when there is a change in technology, you need to reskill the people to deal with the new technologies. And the fastest you reskill them to the new technologies, the more play you could play in the new technologies' behavior. So if we talk AI, you need to make sure you have enough data scientists and AI experts, etc. And I know that India is busy at that. I know that there are many companies that give these services globally, so I'm not saying anything new or revealing, but this is something to keep in mind and to continue and explore.
Okay, final question. Whether at the government level, because India has this digital stack, which I believe is an envy of a lot of countries. I mean, country ambassadors have told this to me. But because India has this digital stack, because companies are so pervasive on technology and out there on cloud, etc., what is it that you think India is doing right on the cybersecurity space? And are there some areas where Indian companies or the government needs to take a step more or improve a little bit from what they are doing right now?
So I think there is, first I'm humble to kind of give advices to governments, so I don't know for sure, but I would say India is taking care of growing the talent skill and pool, but it's also developing its sovereignty of data. So I know we have a data center in India, for example, that holds some of our data for local activities. So they are doing like hygiene practices that are needed across the globe. I think one of the challenges always is the commercial government collaboration, and India is a very large country. So in such a large scale, how do you learn from something that is like, let's call it state nation or activism from one place to another? Commercial, you could say everybody takes care of themselves, but if there are some things that are hitting like industry in a more global way, then a country has to kind of learn from one side and employ guardrails on the other, or help the commercial employ guardrails on the others, and I don't know how much India is able to do this. This is one challenge. And the other challenge, some people like it, some not, is whether there needs to be more governance on what cybersecurity and how much companies invest in cybersecurity or how much governance of AI there is. Some people would say that governance is good as an important, it drives the industry to be more secure. Some would say that less. I would say that based on our data, we see more attacks per week in India than in other countries of the world. This could be related that maybe there are some more smaller businesses or mid-businesses sizes or for other reasons. But there is a need to increase hygiene and to increase the importance. And some businesses run fast to do their own business and move on. And with cyber, somebody has to tell them, hey, we're here. So the SEC, for example, is taking many severe steps around security. I don't know if that extreme is where you want to go, and there is a middle where you could serve global companies that have a long leg in India. And definitely this is, as I said, India is a powerhouse in technology, and you have to find yourself there if you want to strive.
Great. Dr. Dor, lovely talking to you, understanding a small piece of a very difficult topic, but thank you so much for taking the time out and speaking to us today.
Thank you very much. Thank you for hosting me, and even the sun came out.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it keeps on shining, but thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And viewers, thanks for tuning in.